still in Poland and Ukraine border, right? And there's a lot of exciting video sending out to us every day, but because the timeline, I think I just only want to share one video. Thank you for everyone coming. Our farms leader, Emma. Thank you. And who else here? And
Mike?
Mike, Mike's Place here again. And I tried Mike's Place. I contacted you once. Awakening has begun worldwide patriot of freedom, humanity, and together we stand. It's really good, Mike. Stevens. Oh, there's a new guy, Bruce. Very nice production. It's very sad. This was allowed to go on, but yep. We're also going to cover a little bit of today's protest in Vancouver against Bill Gates. I can't believe people want to pay $5,000 to see him. So can I have a first video, please, Kevin?
You like my hat?
Oh yes, I like
So
it.
tell me why you like my hat.
Because it's good, the changement is good to change.
So the new
change.
the change of
Yes,
the Chinese people taking down the Chinese Communist
Exact.
Party.
If you have one, I take it.
Yeah, I will give you one.
Okay, and I will wear it
Yeah,
to support you.
You will wear it and take it to Paris, to
Okay,
France.
nice. Okay, it's okay. I will
Yeah,
take it and
yeah.
I will wear it in my car. I will put it.
Okay, good. So
And thanks a lot for that.
so you think this is good? The new federal state of China taking down the Chinese Communist Party?
Of course, of
Why-
course.
why
It's
is-
time to change.
It's good change.
It's enough now.
No.
All those countries like that, they have to change to stop. We have to be free.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
I'll give you a jacket.
Okay, nice.
Okay, thank you.
So that's our follow fighter in Poland.
Nicole, I
Yeah,
think?
in
Nicole?
border in Ukraine. And Nicole interviewed this guy who's from France, interested I guess our takedown CCP's vest and the hat as well. So somehow this video didn't seem to the same one like I watched. I remember he said that the change is good. Everybody needs freedom. Am I losing it?
Oh, it doesn't matter. It's the same. It's almost the same. As long as we said that we want a CCP goal to go, it's good. Especially when you said exciting video. I was really excited when Miles said the next few weeks he's going to be busy working the recognition of new federal state of China by some countries because of this humanitarian rescue. I was so sorry that I didn't go there. I didn't get a chance. I didn't get an ability to go there, but at least I donate some money. I have some my devotion too. It's really good.
That's really good. Yeah. Yeah, we are even didn't go, but we are back here. We retweet things, we repost things on Getter. That helps. Whatever information we got from the front line, and we send all over. So that helps, right? So showing the world the new federal state China, and we are for humanity. We are against the war. We are against the dictatorship, right?
Yeah, exactly. Don't just donate the money that you can donate more as much as you can. Work as much as you can about social media. And just do whatever we can. Every single efforts will make a big leap in the future.
Yeah, this new guy, I wonder if the both side know or not. So, Mike, we're falling apart here in BC. And real estate up 30%. Basically, they print out more money, right? And so,
Well, I think he's just talking about
yeah,
house price. Yeah, it's hurt me a lot. I know as housing prices go up so big.
they're doing the same thing like in China. They build so much real estate and then they use it as a collateral and then they print out money. And then they go to Hong Kong and laundry the money, then it's all over the world, become US dollars.
I think it's happening in China at first.
Yeah.
BC it's just a worst consequence in Canada. It's all the monies that they overflow to Canada and damage the Canadian economy, damage our life quality.
For sure, yeah. Okay, let's see what Miles talking about on the last video, please, Kevin.
而且你看上海那个姓徐的女人要到了食品，很高兴，她不知道共产党大量的让她传播。你敢骂习近平的娘，10分钟就没了。为啥这个视频能全面传播呢？就是让你看到富豪比你们有优越，富豪比你们有本事。现在全上海中国人看到这个视频呢，全恨中国富豪。今日资本这徐老板简直是个愚蠢的个猪，你炫耀啥？这就是中国人，无论什么人，脑子里边跟狗屎一样。他不知道共产党让你放出去了，恨的现在上海人、广东人、吉林人恨的富豪啊！你有吃的，你家那么多人，这么豪华的地板，石头切的这个大理石地板，然后你家有那么多吃的，我还饿死了，恨谁？恨富豪。社会仇恨都是富豪的事儿，愚蠢吧，共产党的操作。明天七哥参加大直播9点啊，我9点以前不行，还要开会，我9点钟参加大直播啊，大概到11点钟左右啊。明天我详细讲这事，兄弟姐妹们。共产党在给全世界给中国人民拉仇恨，共产党正在把中国人送入敌意，共产党所有现在疯狂的行动，最后的中国人买单。虽然对灭共有好处，但我们不希望看到这一幕啊，就这么简单。咱们的2首歌，兄弟姐妹们，真的是铁索梦，还有整个灭共的血，太感谢全球的战友的打榜，太感谢，创造的神奇。第一天23国家打第一，而且2个歌一起来。明天我们谈谈这个事儿啊，好吧，兄弟姐妹们，太棒了啊！啥都不是，我得到时间了，我马上走。明天我再详细说。
You're talking about the two songs. It's Max Place, or if Bruce you didn't get the songs, you can get it. Mel Score produced that songs for Against the CCP. So one is called Candid Woman, one is called The Terminal Snow, and you can find it on the iTunes and download it only $1.29, I think. And that's one thing he talked about. The other thing is talking about people start hating rich in China. The CCP always try to make sure you have conflicts inside, you fighting each other. And like Shanghai people don't like Beijing people don't like Shanghai people, or Henan people, whatever. So then when you're fighting each other, then you don't have a chance or time to fighting with the CCP. And why do you think the CCP do that, Stanley?
Why? Because they got a chance. Once people fighting each other, they hating each other, they can find a gap to work from there. Not even in China. They've been success in China for the last 100 years since 1920s. Well, since they're established, and also now in Canada, the division in Canada is really
doing
bad
the same
because the left and the right, right, and also, well, I used to hear that a lot of families, even their political view was different. They still being lived together peacefully, but now they're kind of like separated, divided, really bad. I want to mention again, I went to downtown Chinatown, Vancouver,
yeah.
and I saw the slogan said, "Let's heal the division," and I feel really touched about that that slogan, because we really Canadian society was really contaminated. CCP was contaminated. And also, a while ago, I saw that Mike was saying that our group was growing fast. Actually, I should say, sadly, what used to be, used to be big, but somehow our fellow fighter was misguided by some, this activist, very big name. In the past 2 years, we separated. Actually, we're shrinking. We become smaller. We used to be bigger. That's also their CCP's dirty maneuver, because they want to create a hatred between us. Even we're the same boat, we're the same whistleblower movement, but yeah, they corrupted those big names. They grabbed those a big guy away, and then they also a big group of us that we separated. Yeah, sadly, I appreciate that you say we're bigger, because the impression given to you is that currently we're big. Actually, we're bigger, but because of you, Mike and Bruce, you guys join us for sure. That, like you said, we're the same side. Of course, we want to be working together. Not only build a better, like Biden said, build back better, build back better Canada. Not only build back better Canada, we want to rebuild China, because we want to change China as the word, how to say that, a destroyer. CCP become a builder. We should be a very good builder, like a Taiwanese, right? And I don't think we're too bad than Taiwanese, right? We can do better.
Yeah, Max also said that Trudeau loves CCP, but Trudeau not only loves CCP, Trudeau already works.
He wants to be CCP.
He's working with CCP. That's why he sold the country. He's a traitor.
He admires CCP's power. He wants to be a kind of CCP.
Yeah, go back that video again, and then there's a lot of people starving in Shanghai, and then the CCP only try to make people they hate rich people, or they don't have food because of rich people. No, people gotta understand, you don't have food. It's mismanagement. You don't have food because of CCP. You don't have to be locked in the home because one person in your building gets sick. So it's up to you to look for freedom, to find out how to survive. Everybody have in your own hand. I was telling people, tie the sheet together, get down from the high-rise building from the window. I guess young people can do it. I don't think my 90 years father can do it. He's on 11th floor.
Yeah, I don't know, because it's so divided in China. The young generation, they're being brainwashed so badly. They believe CCP. They believe an evil government. Never, not until the day that they've been starved to death, and then they will realize that the CCP is not on their side. They won't support the CCP anymore. But till then, they will do whatever they like the video said, the big whites, those what is it called, those gear that for the pandemic gear, that the big white outskirt, and they using those people. They're the new type of, how to say that, a controller for the society. They have a really unlimited power, because I think those new generation, they wanted to be that part of it. So until the day that they don't have food, they've been starved to death, then they will realize that CCP want to kill them. Because even now, you and me tell them that CCP want to kill you. They will kick us out. They will think that we're crazy.
The things the CCP use the food as a weapon, and then they did before. they were in the 60s, and then you have to have a ticket to buy certain things, how much meat you can buy in a month or how much grain you can have. So even the farmers, but I believe they are prepared and they trying to say how much pressure people can take. And it's
Yeah, exactly. Miles today said he used a long term to explain why that China policy is so bad now. He explained that people's characteristic was built in their teenage, younger age.
Yeah.
By that time, that Xi Jinping was starving, and he felt that power, that dictatorship power, that make you hungry, and make you obey the government. And also, he mentioned that the kids' habit while making their today's attitude, right? And so Xi Jinping believed that starvation will be a tool to slave Chinese people, and he's applied it step by step. He has a plan. That's Musk said. He has a plan since day one, 2012, that he just realized the one by one now. Let's talk about that later.
Let's see the next video what Miles mentioned about Kevin, please.
我主要的刚才说的是什么呢？就是说咱们很多战友这个在各地啊，给七哥提供了很多的这个在隔离期间，包括隔离背后的故事，包括现在整个国内的政治经济情况的一些绝对性的真实的信息。还有一个就是这个红旗导弹系统，顺着塞尔维亚，包括中东、沙特、伊拉克啊、伊朗、也门、叙利亚、突尼斯这些地方，这对美国、对西方世界等同意宣战。而且要把东风15系统啊，要大量的布置在这几个地方。你去想想啊 ，N 个歼20大量的飞机运着红旗导弹到塞尔维亚，七哥是在什么时候发生的？七哥在1个月以前大家报得了，现在大家看到上去了，都已经真实的发生了。但是战友们，你们知道吗？这会把中国人带入到地狱里面去。现在全世界，在非洲，在这里，我们非洲的一个战友家人被强奸了，快强奸死了，要去报案。叫大使馆协助，大使馆说不要说话啊，为了中非友谊，你忍着吧。还有现在在其他地方有的咱们同胞华侨被人拿枪击，这种海外的排华和在全世界人民，俄罗斯打仗入侵乌克兰，让中国人买单，让中国人拉仇恨。上海啊、深圳、吉林、郑州，现在很多人现在饭都没得吃，你还要征服全世界。
That's he makes sure the world hating Chinese, so he's put weapon in Saudi and going to help with Putin with the war. Not going, he is already helping. The meantime, and inside China, people starving. So, what do you think, Stanley, with this video?
Yeah, I just realized that. I just remember that because Xi Jinping has a plan, has a long-term plan. He's processing it one step by step. And Miles said, because he has inside intelligence, he said the whole incident, the whole pandemic from 2-3 years ago till now, is on his schedule actually. From day one, he released the virus. Actually, the virus, the first generation was kind of deadly, but it's not as bad as Black Death disease before, right? And all of us were scared by the mainstream media, which was controlled by deep states and globalists. The globalist, one part of it is Chinese CCP, right? They're all working together. CCP released the virus, and globalists send mainstream media promote it to the whole world, and the what is it called? WHO was helping it, and Fauci was working on that, and forcing everybody to take a vaccine. And this poison vaccine was contaminated. I don't know how many people now. It's 1.5 billion people, right?
Yeah.
And this vaccine disaster is not even started yet. The mouse emphasized we should have started in May, according to the analysis, technical analysis, scientific analysis. But we didn't know that. We were scared to see that happen. We're really worried about what's happening in the future. Because I'm telling you that yesterday, my kids told me why my wife was sick.
Oh, really?
And because my wife and me was separated, I was going to send her medicine, but you know, she was always laughing at us and on our whistleblower moon, and then was dismissed Miles as a liar. So I don't want to really, you know, I would just say
how sick she is.
No, it's not really bad. I'm thinking it's kind of like a reactions, adverse reaction from the vaccine, because he had two shots. You know, now I was feel so lucky that my two kids and I didn't have the vaccine, right? So everything's on step, right? And Miles mentioned that when they want to start to release the virus, when they want to impose a vaccine, and when they want to use the testing policy to isolate the whole every single cities in China, right? They have their schedule. They have their timeline.
They also have a help with Western leaders, the Western government. If they didn't help, they would not follow the schedule. Like when the pandemic just started, and Miles has the doctor from inside China mentioned, oh, use HCQ works, use HCQ. That's why we did give telling Trump, and then the Trump soldier didn't get out of the White House.
I would consider this as the Western leaders. They are naive. They want to somehow they believed, they trust, like Bill Gates. They want to purify human.
CDC, FDA, they are evil. They all been bought out. They all working with CPP. Yeah.
Yeah, well, because they have their ideology, like Bill Gates was promoted. They want a purified human nation. They want to purify the population. They want to remove those burdens from the world, right? And because they really believe it. They don't think that way is evil. It's Satan, right? So, I don't know. I don't know what to say.
I believe the Western government in the period of time, at least right now, start changing. Like today, French government has election. Right now, recently, all the election is every country conservative wins. But 2 years ago, every country is liberal wins. So that's all had a plan, I think.
Oh yeah. Especially that pandemics happened. There are mail-in ballots, right? Mail-in ballots plus Dominion machine, right? That's the way that they can turn conservative tide over.
Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about today's protest here, but I didn't see that many people in Vancouver. I know a lot of people from here went to Vancouver, and but Dr. Nagazi was talking on there, and also there's another lady was up there talking about what did I write down? So anyway, they were talking about ivermectin being approved in the States. So we have to spread that out. And I got to find out the other one.
I think it's Kansas senators approved that, or
There's another organization online called World Council for Health. And on there's an open letter. Everybody has to sign this letter because there's a treaty. And if we don't sign it, if Trudeau pass it down, he sold the country to WHO can do anything for us, to us. That's what I heard from that protest today. But I only got the partially from Dr. Nagazi out. And let's hear some his message, please, Kevin.
A person abuses an animal, for example, beating a dog with a stick. The dog often attacks the stick, not the person holding it. Justin Trudeau is just the stick. So then the question is, who is holding that stick? We have some very good answers out here. I'll give you one answer for you guys to consider and do your research on. The Prime Minister of Canada is the Prime Minister in the Church of the Queen of England. Not a church under God, a church under a sovereign. Not the creator. That's something to think about. Is that real? Is the Church of the Queen really a church, an unholy church? Because, here's something to think about. Residential schools were signed into effect by royal assent. They existed because the royal family signed off on it and made them a reality. And then used the Royal Canadian Mounted Police to populate those residential schools. This is a royal family with at least one pedophile. Prince Andrew. We don't know how many others there are in this royal family. Now, this is a message for everyone in law enforcement. I hope you've all watched the speech I did about law enforcement that I gave to the truckers. But if you haven't, this message is for you. Do people here think that the bodyguards of a criminal that guard criminals so that they can do criminal activities such as abuse of children, murder, and extortion, are those bodyguards of a criminal criminals as well?
Just as guilty.
Just as guilty. So I was wondering for a long time,
Okay. At least here's made a point. Just Trudeau is only a stick. Who's behind him?
Krause. That's what the audience said.
And this is protest against Bill Gates, and they pay. There's some kind of conference. Bill Gates gave his speech, $5,000 a ticket.
Oh.
And I believe it's full. And it's telling you they need more Canadian wake up. If people can pay $5,000 to lessen an evil who want to kill population and reduce the population, something wrong with. So this is a still small amount. And I did just got that video just before the show, so and I keep trying to get the piece what I want and keep cutting around pieces. So it's still not really complete what I want. So basically, he mentioned, you know that before, and he was, Dr. Nagazi was talking about the steel balls in North Vancouver, right, with another older doctor. They filed it to the court, but the court didn't do anything. The RCMP didn't do anything. That's why he's here mentioned about the RCMP as well. So, and what's happening? Are we still on? How come our share?
Yeah, we should be on. Should be on.
Um,
Don't worry about it.
So,
Yeah, I agree. And but somehow I believe for Chinese, for us, working on disclose CCP and to push their acceleration of destroy themselves is our priority. Because I still believe Canada has legislation, even though there is deep states, there is Justin Trudeau, even there is mail-in ballots or Dominion machine, but Canada still have very complete legislation, way better than China, because like Amas said, everything, the evil source, it's CCP. Well, we want to work on to destroy CCP at first. The Canadian, I would say, Canadian are losing freedom, but we're still having it. But in China, there's none of it, because I saw it on the WeChat, and there was a German was complaining when those that organizer in Shanghai, they wanted to send them to isolation camp, and the German was complaining, said, no, you don't want to take me away, this is a kidnap, right? Why Chinese didn't realize that's a kidnap? It's crime. It's crime against Chinese, but none of our Chinese, I would say that 1 in a million, not even 1 in a million opposed it. Another million, 1 in a million challenged it. But I just saw one, this is a 1 in a million fight it back and stab and one of the organizer.
Yeah. And Dr. Nagazi is really brave, and he lost his doctor practice. And I also listened last episode. I was with Alibo. We were talking about Dr. on tour was around here, so there's some picture. And I listened one of the speech yesterday in Nelson, and one of the lady doctor was from North Vancouver. And she didn't want to get a vaccine, but by sometimes in March, and if she doesn't, she lost the license. She's still a doctor, but she can't see the patients. So she emailed all her patients and said, you can either complain to the officials. Said she also gave the scientific evident she think why vaccine is not necessarily for him and for everybody. So you can either complain to the officials, my doctor going to have lost the license, or you're going to lose the doctor. So I forgot what the number, like 100 some patients, of 2 people, and put her name on the newspaper, put her personal email address on the newspaper, say she against the law because she didn't want to get the vaccine. So she lost, even the other patients trying to keep her, but she still lost the license. That's why she's on the tour with other doctors. They are in Nelson, Castlegar, Creston, Cranbrook, and Penticton, Osoyoos. In the past 1 week, every day they are in a different place. So they are the the title, like we said before in December, was the same when they were here, and was a different doctor. Only one doctor I know, he's from Gulf Island, and the other doctor is not there right now. So they want to educate people, especially the parents, before you get vaccinated for your children. So they are telling everything what's happening. It said no such thing as a myocarditis. I can't even say that word. So something for the heart problems for the young kids after vaccine. It said that there's nothing to do with the mild or serious. This is permanent damage of your heart muscle. You can repair it. So the medical doctor, they don't tell you all that. And it's really up to everybody to find the truth. And there is truth out there. And they'll go around, like I said the other day, like doing what the CCP doing, use the circle of the countryside first, to educate the countryside first. Eventually, maybe Congress, a big city. Because the big city people is so overwhelming, and they don't want to listen the truth. Some of them, they want to keep their job. So and I post a few things I add to you. That's why the other day I asked you get us number. If you look for the ad part, maybe find me. I post a few things when the people ask the doctor's question. Like one lady said, my 12 years old and vaccinated, the period stopped because the parents wasn't in the same team. Then the father take them to vaccinate them. The mother doesn't really agree, but already done. So the period stopped. And then there's one lady asked a question. I had 2 jobs. I'm really scared. So the doctor basically said, try to limit the Wi-Fi, try to stay away from it, try to turn it off, only use in a short time when you need to, and not sleep in the same room. There's all kind of things, but I mean, there's information out there.
What to avoid a side effect of the
Yeah,
vaccine?
after you get the vaccine and the
How can you? Even you don't use Wi-Fi. How can you stop your friends? How can you stop your
Not
family?
environment. If you are in a big city, there's a big tower. They give a lot of. It's
Yeah,
there.
exactly. That's inevitable. That's inevitable. Hopefully, artemisinin will work on it. I was trying to keep my I told my son to bring the artemisinin to my wife, but he forgot it today. But sounds like it's not that serious. I guess it's kind of like a mild reaction, mild
The
effect.
seriousness won't. You son only 7 or 8 years old. How does he can understand? And she probably won't tell him so much. Doesn't matter. She is still your kid's mother. You should go there, drop it off. It's not. It's up to her. She take or not. It's up to you. You give or not, right? After you give, your duty is done.
Well, because I don't know if it is from a vaccine
Yeah,
side effect.
Doesn't
Right,
matter.
and-
The artemisinin doesn't hurt it. I'm taking it too, right? It is going to adjust the certain things or the help.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, next time
Just
I'm gonna
drop
drop
it out.
that.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
You still stay friends. You still have to talk. You still wish she's well because she's mother of your child.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, let's see the next video of Dr. Nagati, please, Kevin. I'm not for sure. I did cut it right. I keep
From a criminal organization. This is a paycheck and a pension that you cannot take with you when you die. In fact, even Bill Gates can't take anything with him when he dies. The only thing you can take is the deeds you've done, the memories you've made, and the friends and the people who will remember you. So, law enforcement, I ask you to find the justice in your soul. make a choice between being loved and respected for eternity, or to have 10 or 15 years of paychecks and a bank account you can't take with you. So here's the solution for each and every one of us. There's a saying, don't take the law into your own hands. Do you know why that saying was popularized in culture? Because that is what they are afraid of. If each and every one of us takes the law into our own hands, we can eliminate injustice. Taking the law into your own hands starts with the heart. You have to find the justice in your heart. You have to be honest with yourself. And once you have found justice in the Plato sense, which is excellence of the soul, and you find honesty with yourself, you can start sharing that honesty and that justice with those around you. Once you have justice in your hearts, you can take the law into your own hands. And as people gathering together in groups, taking justice in our hearts and the law into our own hands, we establish jurisdictions, neighborhood by neighborhood. We establish groups of people who assemble into courts. And should a criminal enter our jurisdiction, our neighborhood, a criminal that we have tried with due process, with the same due process and truth that we would try upon ourselves, we can order a warrant for that person's arrest. So if that person ever sets foot in Cole Harbor, in Kitsilano, in North Grandview, in Richmond, Surrey, Langley, Chilliwack, Hope, there is a jurisdiction of men and women who have taken the law into their own hands. Not a law that was written, because believe it or not, the Creator doesn't often write things down. This is the
Wow. So
Yeah, Dr. Nakasi is so admirable.
take the law to your own hand. If everybody in China did that, and CCP will be gone. And everybody in Canada doing that.
Well, I would believe Chinese will think in a different way. They will take the power and law in their own hands. Every single one, they want to be emperor.
That doesn't help.
Well, because like I said, like I admire the Dr. Dagasi. He really has God in his heart. He know what is the God order to every one of us. Because every one of us, we want to have a law. We want to respect. We want to have a law. Because law is the contract between all of us. Once we want to vote the contract, we have to obey it. That's the key point. But the problem is that in past 10 years, or when is Barack Obama went in office, right? Since Barack Obama hold office, he's keep trying to destroy the law and order. I was so stupid of the day one when Barack Obama was elected. I said, America is a great country. They can allow a black man to be a president, but 8 years later, we realized that America was destroyed. Not only America was destroyed, there was the whole world was turning left, and even worse in Canada, right? And they, what is that called? Stephen Harper was really good
the
prime minister.
races. They hire every black people, but that doesn't mean that black person is the real person wanted to help the government. So it's not necessarily. And Dr. Nagaze basically here tell us, freedom in your own hand. The law is the government make, but the government didn't follow the law. When they
Yeah, exactly.
when they don't follow the law,
Like-
so we can follow it on our behalf. We don't need them. Like we can have like that's a small district he's talking about. You can be in North Vancouver. We only got in this place that like you can start in your own home. You can't come
Yeah,
tell me.
exactly. Start your own
Yeah.
district.
Yeah, you can't tell me have to have the vaccine.
Yeah, same as the United States happened that they just go and vote in your own county, in your own city. The same means in Canada, go vote. I don't believe it in down to the earth because I was helping the city council in Burnaby their election, and it's really good that the election in Burnaby doesn't allow. Of course, they don't allow the residents outside of Burnaby to go vote, right? Every single one of them, they have to go to the voting station to cast a paper vote. This is very critical. This is very important. All of us,
I think
all of us.
this time the
yeah.
civil election will be different. People kind of divide vaccinated and not vaccinated. Yeah, it's really nothing you can do. I had a nurse, and which I know her more than 20 years. She's Chinese, she's vaccinated, and she doesn't want to listen to me anything. So maybe she will vote for the person who pushing the vaccine mandate, and then the non-vaccinated vote the person who do not agree. Because they don't want to say that the government use that as an excuse. They are doing everything possible against the law. And eventually, if we don't stand up, then Canada will become China in no time.
In a way, agree and not, because even those vaccinated population, they voted a vaccinated leader. I don't think the vaccinated leader will restrict the freedom of unvaccinated, right? This is still a free country. Remember the truck convoys. A lot of truckers, they have been vaccinated already. They don't want to lose freedom because freedom is so precious to every single one of us, even more precious than our food, even more precious than our family, our future generation. Because it's number one. Whenever unvaccinated population or vaccinated population was damaging your freedom, I don't think any leader or even population, they will compromise this, because eventually it's going to compromise their life. So I still believe the freedom system in Canada.
Hopefully we still can restore, we still can get Canada back.
We should, we will.
It's still like local Vancouver have how many population? That's not much people standing there. It's less than what I protest here. I'm only in a middle town, not a big town. And this is nothing. Penticton even bigger than that, had more people. And when Dr. Nagaze in April 2nd on the border of Soyuz, and actually next video, I put one more video on, and even more people than this. It's ridiculous.
I would have put it this way, because think about it this way. At first, that we have been a truck convoy protest for a long time. kind of we have a fatigue. And secondly, Justin Trudeau just retreated from remove that what an emergency act, right? So this is one thing. This is another thing, right? And I don't think people in Vancouver they forgot their the obligation to hold their freedom. It's just well, this time it's just a Bill Gates visit.
Yeah.
Because still so many people they don't associate Bill Gates with this pandemic, not yet. And even though they associate Bill Gates with this pandemic, even the vaccination passport, that's because majority they had a vaccine, right? What are you expecting they're gonna do?
Yep. Okay, let's see what this next video is. That's from April 2nd, Dr. Nagazi. Kevin, please.
You know, a person came to me earlier this afternoon at this rally, and she had a question. It was because a friend of hers was undergoing surgery and might have needed a blood transfusion. So it brought up a case that I remember from, I think it was the late 80s or early 90s. So this is over 30, maybe even 40 years ago. Canada had a tainted blood scandal where there was hepatitis C and HIV in the blood supply. Now, one of the beliefs of Jehovah's Witnesses is that you're not supposed to ever get another person's blood. And they actually took it to court, and I believe this was in the 80s, because what the Jehovah's Witness wanted to do was to donate blood to themselves a month or two before surgery, and then if they needed a blood transfusion, to get their own blood back. Unfortunately, the Canadian court system said that was illegal, and the Jehovah's Witnesses took it all the way to Supreme Court. Supreme Court decided that no Canadian should be allowed to donate blood to themselves. They must take blood from the public blood supply. And if any blood donation is given, it must be given to the public blood supply. So this has been in the works since the 80s. Now, if you had asked me that question in the 80s, I would have been a child, but if someone had told me that was actually all a part of a very big plan to make sure that if anyone got a blood transfusion 30 years into the future, so the 2020s, where we are now, that they would have no choice but to get tainted blood tainted by the genetic experiment known as the mRNA vaccines. So this is an important thing to think about, because there's two possibilities. Either it wasn't a conspiracy going back 30 years ago, or it was. If it wasn't a conspiracy, then there's nothing to worry about. The Supreme Court genuinely believed that the only responsible way to conduct a public blood supply would be to force everyone to give blood publicly and force everyone to take blood from the public supply. There's no private blood donation supplies where you can ensure you're getting high quality blood. Either that was a genuine mistake or that was something that was intentional. Now, if it was intentional, we have some thinking to do, because that means the conspiracy goes back at least 30 years. Now, we heard a little bit about World War II. I think it in fact goes a lot farther back than that. We all know from the past 2 years how much the powers that be like to manipulate people through negative emotions. So they managed to scare billions of people on both sides of this ball.
So we don't know that's a conspiracy or not, but I don't think this makes sense. If the person wants to donate their blood before the surgery, like me, I in and out of the surgery room many times. So it would be scary to think right now our blood bank is contaminated. I would think twice, but what can we do if they cut out the option? You're allowed to donate the blood if they can keep there for you. You can, if you already plan, have your surgery, unless emergency, you don't know. But whatever they doing, and like this, I never know. I heard about the Jehovah's Witness do not allow the blood transfusion, but I didn't know they went on the court, been turned down. They didn't allow donate for their own blood. That's ridiculous. Well,
Yeah, I didn't know that. It's kind of scary. I thought I remember in China you can do that. You save the blood, your own blood, and draw your own blood for your future use, right? And then I can't believe it in Canada. It's illegal that you save a blood for your future operation. Can't believe it.
so it means Canada or government want total control, or maybe there's already a pandemic because a lot of this.
30 years
Yeah.
ago, huh?
So we will get into this, but for sure, there's a lot of people have a hand in this pandemic or pandemic, all vaccine, everything. I know you and me didn't make big money on this vaccine. Whoever knew how much money they donate, put in that whatever the stock in that vaccine, Pfizer, whatever, Moderna, whatever, they all made a lot of money. I know Dr. Fauci did, and I hope he's going to jail or he's rotted in hell.
Yeah, it's just making me so worried and so sad. Remember that President Kennedy, John Kennedy, was killed, and he has some that disclosed that he found some really evil plan from deep states. Well, ever since he found that, he was killed, and that was the 1960s, and so if we consider this way, associate this, John Kennedy with Canadian this Supreme Court justice, then you will find out that's a step-by-step plan that just like Xi Jinping was made, right? And just coming to 2020, it's become a volcano of this pandemic, and every one of us, right? The extreme examples in China, they has isolation camp all over the China, and almost happened in Canada. And some of the place like Italian, Spain, they have this kind of camp periodically. But people in the Western country, they still freedom. They are allowed to protest. In the end, they got a freedom back. Otherwise, they will be like in China, right? You will be isolated at your home. They will put the seals on your doorway. Mm-hmm. It's scary.
Yeah. So anything you need added on today's episode?
I don't know. I'm just saying that I wish that Mouse will bring us good news 2 weeks later, and the new federal states will be officially legal.
Yeah.
Right? This is really big. It's really, 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 really big. Anything words cannot compare with this certification. Yeah, that's the only thing. I don't know. Either I can donate the money, I can devote my time to whatever we can do. Let's do it.
Anyway,
there is a lot of there's a lot of difficulties. Sorry,
you go ahead. You finish.
Oh, sorry. There's a lot of difficulties. Mike and Bruce was praising us that we are very big group that are fighting to CCP, but somehow we're Chinese. Our personality was contaminated by CCP's doctrine. We want to clean ourselves. We want to be like Canadian, be nice and peaceful Canadian, so we can have more cooperation among Chinese, which is not happening now, but we're working on that. We're working on that.
Okay, Mike, you have to leave. Thank you. But gotta remember, we will be 8 p.m. next time, and we change the time on Sunday as well. So Thursday evening and Sunday evening, both 8 p.m. Vancouver time, or which 11 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you, Max. So we are New Chinese. Our mission is take down the evil CCP, because the CCP not represent us, not represent Chinese, and now non-Chinese been voting for them. And we are doing everything we can to help the world become a better place, and to show the world what CCP been doing, or used to doing, or still doing. They're doing everything possible to kill people and to destroy the world, and do not give a peace. All the problems right now, the root cause is from the CCP. So, and whoever in Shanghai or still inside China, please be safe and find a way to survive a couple of years for sure. CCP will be gone. I still have family there. Not too much we can say. And be safe and do not get.
Save your life. Keep your
Do not.
keep your life.
But do not get sick either. I recently had somebody went to Vancouver, did get sick, but I give ivermectin in 48 hours. She's better. She was in fever and a lot of cough. Now she's better. So we still got to fight whatever Canadian have, protect our freedom as well. We don't want Canada become China. That's a big no.
Of course not.
Thank you, everyone. Next week.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good evening. Good.
妈妈，我们的哭泣一起感动了天地，感动了天